And the inflationary pressures due to geopolitical events has really become a major issue, especially into the political season that we're about to enter into. So,
Sure.
Michelle, why don't you tell us about your thoughts on inflation and what does the government need to do to tame it?
Unfortunately, I don't know how much they can do to tame it because so much of what we're being impacted by is because of what's going on in the Middle East. It does concern me though, when I look through some research today, 95 of people polled said that we are in an affordability crisis. 2/3 of the people polled said that they cannot afford groceries. Now, more often than not, when we're in line buying groceries or your spouses are buying groceries, you assume everybody that's in the store, the majority of people around you can buy groceries. That does not seem to be the case anymore. For 2/3 of people, I don't know where the poll was, 2/3 of the people that responded said they cannot afford groceries for their family. That's serious. And the people that don't have money and aren't billionaires, they're going to try to impact what they can through their vote. And so I think it's not just expectations right now in terms of earnings. I think there's going to be more focus on midterms and how the politicians are going to try to address this and our deficits. And then, of course, that's going to affect what we're going to see with the Federal Reserve.
Yeah, the affordability crisis. I just wrote something on Substack about this.
Okay.
And I think it's really just been prompted by the media. They latched on to this affordability crisis and want to lay it at the feet of Trump. But the affordability crisis, this is really a hangover from the Biden administration because prices rose 4.9% on average for 4 years under Biden. And prices don't go lower. The inflation rate, which is the rate of change, might have slowed, which it has. But that doesn't mean that the manufacturer of a widget is going to go in and reduce his price if he's able to sell that widget at a higher price. As long as people are buying things, I don't see affordability being an issue. Andrew, what is your thought?
Yeah, I think affordability really limits down to housing, and housing is the one area that there's absolutely no FUD around there. There's no dispute there. Okay, we do need to produce more affordable housing to take care of the folks so that there'll be less homelessness. Now, on the other side of it, about consumer spending, and that goes hand in hand with the job loss data that you're hearing, right? Because remember the rhetoric not too long ago, they were thinking that, oh, is the economy going into a recession? Because we haven't had a recession, the fact of the matter is that we have had a rolling continuous period over 2 years of slowing economic activity. I call that a rolling recession from the results of 2022. And don't forget that inflation was as high as 9% on a monthly basis not too long ago as a result when the rates were high and as a result of the COVID money showering people while they were staying at home shopping at Amazon, okay, while all the manufacturing are shut down. So that's the real hard, and that's what's driving this inflation. I always have to keep the audience in mind that inflation caused by demand is the bad inflation. Inflation, and you need to raise rates to slow down inflation from demand. Inflation caused by supply, you need to ease the pain because if you supply, which is the temporary oil prices high or any kind of a components of manufacturing that is higher, could be commodities, for example. And then inflation that is caused by demand, which is too hot of economy, too much money chasing too few goods. So I have to, reiterate that I don't think we are entering into a higher rates, meaning the Federal Reserve should not raise rates. And I believe inflation is much better than what it is right now, that is showing in the short term. And also the economic data of job losses that you hear. A couple of 100,000 here, Volkswagen 100,000 there, Microsoft 8,000 there. What they're also not telling you is the new business formation data that is also the other side of the story here. And new business formation, for example, one private company that releases that is the Registered Agent Incorporated, RAI. If you look up their new business formation monthly report, you see that roughly about 500,000 new businesses were formed. okay, on a monthly basis. And that is a great offset to the job loss data that you see, because once you become an entrepreneur, when you lose your job, you take yourself out of the jobs market. And again, this is very exciting news. And I think we need more of a balanced approach when it comes to assessing the economy. In my view, the economy is trucking along just fine. There's not a risk of going into recession. I believe it's the complete opposite. The years and years of expansion and achievement that we have gotten from innovation and technology is helping us to do one thing, is to do more with less. When we do more with less, then we can agree that this is a deflationary environment. And as matter of fact, I do see that happening as well. So the short-term spikes in inflation is caused by political conflict. And I think that over time will be eased and will be offset by the achievement that we have accomplished and in progress now with the tech expansion.